the New
New
Year,
Year's. Hey,
and
what's the ticker on that?
PLNT, and given COVID and everything, and them being pretty much the only gym that's kind of been on and off
And
open, they're they popped in my head, and I'm like, oh, it kind of looks like it might go up. Looks like it might tank. Like it looks like it's due for a big movement in one direction or the other.
Hey, while we're waiting on him to Kayla to get ready, I'll
I
pop
am
it
ready.
up
Yeah,
there.
just go ahead and welcome everybody. Good morning, good evening, and good night, as they say. And no, I'm here. I'm just sharing it off to the Facebook world and making sure that everyone's able to get in here and hang out with us. Feel free to show off your pets and your house and yourself. You can show your screen. We are a welcoming group here, so we appreciate everybody coming in and visiting us live for the training session tonight. We're going to be going over some very basic stuff tonight, and also dive into any Q and A's you may have, and also all the listeners that are on Facebook, YouTube, anyone that's watching. If you wanted to participate and you really wanted to get in here to where you could ask questions and not just chat, then all you got to do is grab the link that we will drop in the chat there for you, and you can grab that and you can join us in the Discord, and we will, you know, let you guys get started with us. If you are just a new watcher coming in as a beginning trader, somebody that's like, hey, what am I doing here? Why would I be listening to this guy? Well, what we're here doing is we're going to teach you about the small things, starting a brokerage. Thank you for that follow, whoever just dropped that in there. Merry Christmas. And we are excited to have you on board with us. So we are going to go over why would you start a certain brokerage? What would you do? Why would you make a why would you start a brokerage account? Why would you make a conscious decision to start trading? Well, when I was 18 years old, a quick story about my backdrop. I was 18 and I had a finance director. I won't drop his name because I don't know if he wants to be on here, but I'll just say JF is the initial. So, JF, I appreciate you for having me look at my very first trade, which was Sirius Satellite Radio and XM when they merged. SIRI. That was one of the um, eye popping moments for me when I learned about trading, and I was like, hey, what is this about? I'm watching guys that made a lot more money than I did, and they were happy as can be, on a certain day, and I'd be like, hey, what's going on? And they would be like, we're all in the computers, they're looking behind the screens, and they wouldn't let you look. And I always thought it was about they were looking at the screen about selling cars and things of that nature sometimes. And I'm not saying that they weren't, but once I realized that there was other screens behind a screen that would help you sell cars, it really opened my eyes to the future. And I started looking at other screens, which were stock screens, and learning about the value of investing instead of spending and putting away money to make myself feel comfortable in the future. And I didn't do that well at first, and I'm not here to tell you that I was instantly a millionaire. I made $360 on my first trade. Within a few months, it was 6 months later, and I was ecstatic. Off of just buying shares. I called it. I was excited. I was like, "This is the company. Their merger is going to make something happen." We were selling the cars, and we were putting Sirius Satellite Radio and XM radios in every GM product and every Ford product. So at the time, I felt that that would be a good catalyst for future growth for those companies. And they had a significant drop when they had their um, acquisition, and they went to 80 cents or so. And that's when we got in, 86 cents. And then we sold at $3.80 or so, and different portions throughout the time. But it was just a quick introduction of why I started trading, and what would make me feel like this is something I could do in the future. Because at the time, you know, 17 years ago, $300 to $400 in 6 months may not mean a lot to some, but it meant a lot to me. And I figured out, hey, what if I could maximize that and start doing it more? And over time, things developed with my personality, my age, my time, my life, my family, children, wife, houses, occupations. The timeline caught up to the reality that I was ready to be a trader, and I was ready to make this something that I was excited to do, and leave my career of 17 years of the car business to be a trader. So that's I left, and I'm here now helping you guys learn, and excuse me, brought on a team of traders that are new, that are advanced, that are 30 years in, traded $1 million portfolios, traded $1,000 portfolios, $100 portfolios, and we have them now in the same server right here for you guys to learn and to grow as a community. So we're gonna kick this off with Mickey just giving his quick insights about what he has to say about starting a brokerage, and maybe where you might want to start out as a new trader instead of jumping right into a paid commission brokerage. And we're not knocking any brokerages out there. We don't get paid for advertising. Anything you hear on here is strictly opinion. We're not here to tell you what to buy. We're, buy whatever you want. This is just our opinion.
Absolutely. Hey, thanks a lot, Jess. So for all of you new people there, and you probably are new to trading and all that, and on my way to work today, I was listening to Warren Buffett talk about why he loved small business. The Russell, which is the small create your own business funds and all, or businesses and all that. And you know why he loves them, and he invests so highly into them and builds all these programs to allow these businesses to succeed even through COVID. It's because they're business people that are real, right? So he pulls his business people from community colleges. He literally said that on CNBC. He doesn't pull them from Yale. He pulls those people from higher colleges for his big businesses, but for small build-up businesses, he pulls them from community colleges. And his turnover ratio is humongous, right? And it's because he understands that they have they're real people. So for you being a new trader, the whole purpose of Elite Trading, one day we will be a brokerage. There's no doubt in my mind. But right now we're a trading club. But the people we want to target is that working class, that single mom who's going to college and working a full-time job and raising a family, and we want to give her financial freedom, or that person who just had nothing in life, and they're working at the car dealership and they're putting in 18-hour days, and they're doing a secondhand job as an Uber driver off the side to make a couple more $100. So those are the kind of people we want to target. And so when it comes to brokerages, I get it that most new traders want to join the Robinhood because they give you a free stock, and that's all fine and dandy. However, when looking at a brokerage, you have to think before you place one stock. You have to do your research, right? Not just on the stock, but whichever company you want to trade through, right? And a couple of things that I look for, and when I pick my brokerage, they're trained. If they're a big time corporation and they expect me to use them to place my trades, then I need to learn from them. I don't need to rely on them. I need to learn from them, right? All they are a platform for me to make my trades. So what I'll do, first thing you research is what kind of education program they have. And is that education program to teach you, is it tailored to the way you learn? Or is it a complicated script taught by very dry individuals, and their training program jumps really fast, really complicated, really soon, and you're left in the dust, and then you're just sitting there making trades confused, worse than you were when you first thought, I need to invest this money, right? So to give you an example, right? And Kayla, do I have 5 minutes to teach a real quick class just to give them a sample of what it should be?
Yes, but if you don't mind, let me interject real quick. And the reason why I want to, before he goes into that, is I want to make sure you guys understand that if he's okay with it. Mickey, can you tell him what you do for a living, and you know you're a year away from retirement, and I want them to kind of know a quick analysis about why you would be someone that they would want to listen to when it comes to protecting their money, because you protect a lot. You protect our government's money, so.
So absolutely, kind of what he said. Like I've literally guarded Fort Knox before as a young private way back in the day. So I'm in the Army. I'm active duty. I was an infantryman. I joined the day after 9/11 to serve my country, and I've been doing it for 19 years now. And I'm about to retire next year, actually. And now I'm a finance guy because of certain injuries that happened along the way. But yeah, I grew up as a fighter. I grew up in foster care. I grew up on a $20,000 a year income with a house full of 7 foster kids in it. And, you know, I've learned throughout the years how to be a good steward of my funds, right? Which is why, like, risk mitigation is the one thing you always hear me preach. And before risk mitigation, you'll hear me preach more about education.
Mom said get out of the mic.
Hey, we're a family establishment people, so if you are coming in here and you're coming in now and you're like, hey, there's kids coming in, don't worry, my wife might pop in, the kids might pop in, we're a family establishment, so don't worry about that, and we're here to just help you guys grow. And if you've got your family around you and you're afraid to share your mic because there's noise around, as long as it's not too distracting, feel free to interject or drop a comment in the chat, please.
Yeah, thanks, man. Hey, thanks for interdicting that. Hey, but what I was saying is, like, education is the most important part of being a trader, right? You don't want to be one of these traders that is like a baby bird who's lying on the mama to feed him a worm and go hunt for that worm and go get that worm and fly the worm all the way back. And then when that mom bird dies, you don't know how to get the worm, right? So that's what this elite trading is all about, is to teach you how to do this on your own, right? And then when we become a big brokerage company, stick with us, you know, advertise us. We don't really care about advertisement or anything because it's going to grow. But anyway, so education and risk mitigation are the 2 things you need to focus on right now. There's a plethora of more stuff that you need to learn, but that will be in the mentorship program that we're currently building. So real quick, when learning how to trade stocks and all that, like, there's a couple of things you got to go all the way back to the basics, right? And when I look at the brokerages, like, I wanted a company that taught me way beyond basics. You know, like, I didn't want to know what an option was. I didn't want to know what a stock was. I didn't want to know when to buy a stock or anything like that. I wanted to know the absolute basics, right? And so that's what I learned. Like, before I bought anything, like, that's what I learned. So I'm going to give you guys a real class, like, live right here, right now. And that way you guys can understand the basics. So you can understand currency and how it's made and what this stock market is that's trading trillions of dollars on what? Like, what is it? All right. So let me go through and give this class. I got 5 minutes, Kaylor. Is that good?
Go for it.
All right, cool. I'm not throwing you off topic, am I?
No, man. This is great stuff. Keep going. I'm here for you guys.
All right. Let me pull it up real quick. And watch it not work. Because that's how my tech life works. Perfect. Go live. All right. Can you guys see the screen?
It's loading. Yep. Can see it.
Yeah, I
Where
can see
did
it.
it come from?
All right. So when you're looking for a brokerage or even getting serious about trading, you gotta go all the way back to the basics. So I'm gonna give you a quick class on where does money come from. This is my favorite picture when it comes to trading, right? Build an empire, right? that's the most important part as a retail trader is you got to do it within a team, right? So if you join this program, if you're already part of this program, you can be a witness. Like it's easier to do this stuff with a team than by yourself, especially if you're new, right? We don't send our privates over to Afghanistan and Iraq to fight by themselves with no training, right? So you don't jump into a job and become the CEO of the company without training. So why do people think they can just jump on Robinhood and, start trading blindly? It doesn't make sense, right? So let's go. I'm going to start this off with Winston Churchill said, the farther you look back, the farther forward you can see, all right? Without understanding the past, you cannot see into the future, right? Understanding the birth of currency in your pocket can provide a perspective for your plan going forward. And we do this every single day. We do it. We look into the past and we pull from where sustained improvements and we fix the future, right? When it comes to doing our budget, raising kids, relationships, jobs, war, everything, right? Most people, though, a lot of people live their lives off of money, right? You work your life away at these jobs to get that dollar bill, right? You don't, and you're giving your best parts of your life to these corporations and these jobs, and you don't even know where it's come from and how it's regulated and all that. And that's important to know as a person who trades stocks, right? And when I say people, I don't just mean the working class. I mean the wealthy. I mean bankers. I mean CEOs. Like insurance managers. They don't know where money comes from, right? So like that's what this class is going to be about. Teach you some inflation, some taxes, and I'm going to do it in 5 minutes. And this is just a taste of what the mentorship program is going to provide you. All right. So step one, where money comes from. The government creates a glorified IOU, which is known as a bond. All right. So the Treasury will create this IOU. All right. Why do we make this IOU? That's known as the national debt, which is known as our bond. Well, it's simple. Politicians make promise, whether they're on the campaign trail, whether they are in office trying to please a stimulants, or they're trying to get reelected. They make these wild promises that we don't have the money to come through with, right? So they have to increase the money supply to come good on these promises, and as the money supply increases, the value of the dollar drops. So we print more money and we print more money and the value drops even more. And I'll go further into that. Like I said, this series alone is 7 steps, right? And we talk about the history of money and like how many times the market crashes and all the way back from the beginning where money became a thing. So as the money supply increases, the value of the dollar drops. So we print more money and that creates deficit spending, right? Deficit spending is when you spend more than you make, right? Most of America does that with credit cards, The government does it with a zero balance account, right? The Treasury borrow currency by issuing a bond, right? It's nothing more than the national debt, like I told you, that is paid by us taxpayers. Not just the principal of that national debt, that bond that they created for that promise that the government made, but the principal with interest and fees that us taxpayers pay, right? So now the value of the dollar drops even more if you think about it. The government doesn't even pay the interest, fees, and bonds. I talked about that. All right, so once the Treasury creates this glorified IOU, aka bond, then they hold a bond auction. The biggest banks, try to get these bonds and win over these bonds because they know they'll profit by the earned interest that we pay for as a taxpayers, right? Now the banks will swap these bonds to create currency, right? They do that through an open market auction, right? Open market auctions are when all the banks sell the bonds to the Federal Reserve. So Treasury makes a bond, banks bid on the bond, banks win the bonds, and then they sell them to the Federal Reserves. And then guess what the Federal Reserve does? It makes magic happen out of thin air, right? From a zero balance account, the Federal Reserve writes a check, right? If we did that, it even says on the Federal Reserve, like if a person writes a check on a zero balance account or doesn't have the money in the account to cover the whole check, it gets rejected, right? But they do it every single time they want to write a bond, right? Then that currency is made, and now the dollar value will decrease, right? So a quick overview. It is important to know that the Federal Reserve and the Treasury just exchanged IOU, aka national debt, to make currency, and they use the banks as a middleman. Like, this country's been running this situation for a while, right? They know all the loopholes behind it. So remember, politicians make promises they can't pay for. Treasury creates the bond. Treasury holds bond auctions and banks buy them. Banks swap those bonds through an open market auction to the Federal Reserve. Federal Reserve writes a check from a zero balance account and currency is made. Now politicians have the money to come through with their promises. So that was series 1 of just a class, right? And Kayla talked to me like 2 minutes before this session. I just got off work, still in uniform. I didn't prep that, right? And all I'm trying to show you that, like, here, like, we're just normal people trading, right? We have families, we have pets, we have jobs. It's the holiday season. Our bank account's grown thin too, because our wives like to buy everybody on the earth a Christmas present. And we produce that. Like, nobody thinks about where does money come from, but how can I use that? And feel free to answer this question, but anybody, how can I use what I just taught you to make me a better trader?
And obviously, if there's people in the group that want to open up right now, we are open for questions. If you guys are coming in, you're brand new, and we told you, you know, we're here to give you the brand new stuff, the entry level stuff, which we're going to do. I'm definitely going to be here. I plan on being here for another 40 minutes. So we will chop this session.
Oh, we had
up.
a 40-minute squeeze? My bad.
No, you're fine. I'll be here all night. Like, I'm going to be talking about stuff as long as we can. And I'm hoping that the group wants to participate. So if you're in the chat, feel free to chat. I have you guys in there. I can see what you're saying in the Facebook chat. And John, welcome to the group. And Matt, I see it's you, Matt. And then everybody else that's coming in there. So feel free to say something. Ask us some questions. Fedsky, George, T Biggie.
So I got to start writing IOUs to everybody?
That's on. Just open up a bank account, don't deposit money, and just write IOUs.
Sounds like the best way to get rich.
And that's why we're the best country.
So, you know, I want to kind of segue this and go into where we were talking about, you know, and that's really good stuff for you to understand when it comes to getting yourself started out in the very beginning. But really what it comes down to when we're talking about picking out brokerages, and where Matt was talking about the fact that we will probably be we will be a brokerage that you can trade with in the future. We don't plug ourselves. That's why we're not talking about this. So what I wanted to talk about definitely for you guys though is when you're starting out, you're probably one of those people that are on Robinhood or you're on Webull. And if you're starting out on Robinhood or Webull, put a W or an R in the chat if that's where you trade. If you're trading on TD Ameritrade, drop a T. Just drop the first letter. We'll know what you're talking about. I want to know what the chat is trading with, what the group's trading with, and what brokerages you're using, because we can give you videos on the pluses, the negatives, the positives, the goods, the bads, everything about each brokerage that you guys put down, and we'll give our pure opinion, just what we think about them. We have every source that's out there in the market. If you have a question about anything before you buy it, please drop the ticker or drop the company's name, drop whatever you're about to buy, drop it below and we'll buy it first and review it for you. How about that? So drop the company that you guys like. That if there's something out there that you want, any type of software that you want to learn about and you don't have it, then let me know. If you've never traded before ever and you're saying none, Johnny D, you're a smart man. You don't do anything until we have lunch. So we'll get together, John, and I'll set you up the right way. And the right way would be the way we're teaching everybody right here, and it's to start on the level that your mindset, your money in your bank account, your family life, your risk management, what you're willing to do. If you've never traded before, if you've never been a person who's ever risked any money, if you're not a gambler, if you're not a person that's ever bet on a sport, then this is probably something that's for you. And if you're also one of those people who checked off all of those things, this is definitely for you. And the reason why I say this is that this can be for anybody. This can be for anyone that's out there that's starting out, no matter what level or what risk you've ever had when it comes to money. Because what you're doing now is you're going to start learning how to not risk your money. Because whenever you make a paycheck and you pay a bill, you pay a car payment, you sign up for Amazon Prime, you sign up for anything, you're risking that money to go to zero, because that money's never going to make you money. And what we're here to start with is that if you take $20 at a time and you decide that I want to invest in a company that I believe in, and I want to go with a company that is going to be something that I believe is going to make a difference in the world, it's going to make money this month, it's going to have something that's changing, and you're going to say, okay, I want to put a little bit of money towards that every single month. Well, that's the old school mind of trading. That's the way that our great grandfathers got rich and our grandfathers got broke. So you have to understand that, our great grandfathers were dropping money in $20 at a time, $20 at a time, $20 at a time. Boom, 1999 happens, and people that put in $1,000 into Amazon, or $1,000 into P&G, or $1,000 into Walmart, my uncle, people that put in multiple dollars, whatever the percentage or the money is you're talking, they put them into these companies and they blasted off over the last years, and they forgot about this money. Mickey and I were talking about that. There's people that have forgot about money and accounts and are rich now, and they forgot about it. Now there's people like grandfathers that I know that built roller coasters and started the engineering industry, and they're broke because they bought into GE, and they retired from General Electric, and they retired from Ford, and they retired from these companies that aren't doing well. They're not blasting off to $3,000 a share. They're not going to $150 a share. They're going to $5 a share. And what we want to teach you is that you can take your money and you can leverage it for a 5 to 10 minute, 15 minute move in the morning. And once you learn and understand how to do this, that you can actually leverage yourself, put in some money, and be smart, and then cash out in 10 or 15 minutes and be gone. Be whatever you do. What if you're an army guy, if you're a military, if you're military period, or if you're a car guy, if you're a stay-at-home dad, you're a stay-at-home mom, you're a nail lady, a nail guy, you're a workout fitness guru, whatever you do, you can find 15 minutes to trade. And the reason why we tell you that you only need 15 minutes to trade is because if you're in our, I will plug us real quick, if you're in our group and you're in our chat, we drop all the knowledge you need to get these alerts while you're doing all these other things. So if you're like, man, my phone just dinged and I have a chance to look at it, boom, I'm in. And this guy says, I'm going to go with this move to the upside. And then you see 15 other people say, I agree, I'm in on that move. And then you see the candles start moving to my direction, in my opinion, and it starts working out to go in towards the way that I think. And like today, if you guys want to go back, I don't like to toot my own horn too much, but if you want, go back and look at my live today and look at what we talked about. Look at yesterday's Moderna call. Look at the live video where we talked about Plug Power running today, and right when we were talking about it, you saw two big old large green candles for the next hour. So it's not saying that I know how to predict the future. It's not saying that I'm a person that could teach you how to be a stock millionaire, but I can give you ideas and suggestions with a team of people that put together the same ideas and suggestions, and we decided that's the right move, and that's what you're paying for. You're not paying for being a millionaire, you're just paying for knowledge. And if you've ever been successful at anything, you didn't get it by doing things for free. You paid with time, effort, or money, one or the other. You paid with one of the three, and it was it's something that I've done my whole life. I've fought with time, effort, and money, and I was investing a lot of money into the wrong things, whether it was drugs, partying, girls, boozing, going out, doing the wrong things, spending money on bullshit that didn't matter. And now, you take that money and you start putting into stuff that matters, and let that money work for you. And that's kind of what we're talking about tonight. So if that's stuff that interests you, then follow along, smash that like button, share this with your friends, and talk about it. Let people learn about what we're doing. And that's just a very broad aspect of it. So picking a brokerage, like we're gonna circle back to, you're gonna pick one that's gonna work for you, whether it's gonna be easy to use because it's easy to simplify a trade and execute a trade. You're gonna pick it because it fits your trading style. You're going to pick a brokerage because it will maybe be something that you'd rather learn on in the beginning, that's going to give you a more advanced level of tools. So that's why we recommend Webull over Robinhood, and that would be the reasoning why is because there's better tools available for you to chart and learn how to better trade. And then the next level would be if you go to TD Ameritrade, or if you want to open a trading view account to be able to trade through different platforms and use the catalysts that the trading view experts are using, and you can follow guys that have been doing really well, that have been putting out their trade ideas for a long time. That's a really good tool that you can have. And it's great stuff. And Ben, I just now saw you pop in. I don't know if you've been here a while, but I'm glad Ben's in here because Ben has been giving some great knowledge in the group, especially for the new traders, dropping some easy knowledge when it comes to a professional trader. But for a new trader, I mean, it's been some solid stuff when it comes to just letting you guys see the bigger picture on how to trade and not just going in blind. So I just want to thank him while he came in, just because I know he hasn't been here for a while. So, but anyway, rant over. Yeah, no problem. And rant over. If Winfred wants to jump in, or if Mickey or Ben or anybody else wants to kind of chime in a little bit. I know I've been going off on a tangent for a while, but that's where we're at. We're just wanting to let you guys know, if you're coming in just now and you're just now watching, we want to talk about why you would choose a brokerage that would work for you. Why would you start investing in the first place instead of spending? And what opportunities come out of actually putting your money towards a training with us or with anybody, even if you don't choose to use us, and you get these free trainings from us and you want to choose to spend your money elsewhere, why would you go do that instead of saying, hey, like we said, drop it in the chat, we'll discuss it for you and go over why you would use it or why you wouldn't, and save you the money. That's all we're here to do, is save you guys money. And that's the topic tonight. Why you start investing and why we can save you money. Q, one of my mentors.
Hours in locations, just bored out of our minds, talking and talking and talking. And then one day I was enjoying the great view of Afghanistan, and we started talking about trading, and comes to find out that like half of my platoon was trading and in the stock market stuff, and I had no idea. And then like after that conversation, it sparked a surge of knowledge. Like I had to get more information and more information and more information. So it's been a hobby of mine. But then obviously, like the financial freedom that comes from it is also a definite benefit as well.
Good stuff. Hey Ben, you got anything to drop in tonight, or you just want to listen in, or you got anything?
Yeah, I'll drop some knowledge. I didn't hear the beginning of it. I was kind of running around busy doing stuff, but I know we're talking about different brokerages and what works for you. Um, the key is really what works for you. They're all different. They all have their pros and cons. I have 5 different brokers. I have Webull, I have Robinhood, I have Schwab, I have TD Ameritrade, and I have a Vanguard account. Vanguard was my very first one ever, back when a single trade was like $7 a piece. Still have the account, still have my long-term investment accounts. They all have their pros and cons. Kind of my main point. So I use them for their pros and cons. I know everyone bashes Robinhood, but that's where I have my option plays on. I use Robinhood specifically just for options, and that's it. And what I do is I take my profits from my Robinhood account, withdraw them to my bank, and then transfer them to my either my Schwab account or my TD Ameritrade account. When I'm dealing with stocks, or if I'm day trading, strictly just stocks, then I'm on my TD Ameritrade account. So, they all have their pros and cons, each one. I do all my chart analysis, everything on TradingView. So I know Thinkorswim is good, and Robinhood sucks and all this stuff, but I just do everything on TradingView, set up my alerts, set up all my different scanners and everything on there, and then whatever I see, I jump onto either account and make my trades. So I guess my best advice for you is find out what works specifically for you. If Webull is great for you on doing options, great, learn that one. Be the best at that one. Don't try to get too confusing on a lot of different ones, but find what works for you, and you'll definitely see a difference in your trading style.
Hello.
That's good stuff. Hey, Winford, thank you for jumping in here. And Fred, I'd love to hear your insight on any of the topics you've heard tonight, or if you have anything that you have to want to interject and bring to the group. Fred has been part of our company for a while now, and he's a great guy. He's a great mentor. So learn from Fred.
Right. Okay. So what I'll say, what I'll add to what that's been said so far is that you know, whichever broker you choose and their platform that you choose, typically they don't even require so much money. Some of them will require zero money down. Some will say $150, $200. The TD Ameritrade, most of the other brokerages. But the good thing is that when you're a beginner trader, you can at least get that account and then start playing with the paper, start doing paper trading for a while. That would give you a feel of the lay of the land, how the platform works, what the type of instruments you want to trade, how the spreads in terms of the ask and the bid, how they are on there. And then you can practice your hands over a few weeks. It could be months for some, and it could be days or hours for some people. But once you try your hands on various, 2 or 3 other brokerages, it gives you the opportunity to understand how they work and how they will fit your style of trading. So yes, register a few of them, but make sure that you do some paper trading for a while before you start throwing real money at the trades, because you don't want to, I hate to, for you to go in there and start throwing money and losing money. You may win, but you may not win for too long. The winning streak is going to end at a certain point. But do you have the ability to say enough is enough and get out of the trades? You may not have that, the guts to do that. So do paper trading and practice until you're very comfortable. Then you can start using real money.
And Fred, when
That's
they paper trade too, right? We want them to start with an account that would be a real account. Some people come in and they start with the $1 million that it gives them, and they're like, "Oh, I made $100,000, and because I bought
No.
Apple at $200,000, but I never could have done that, right?" And
No. Yeah.
you want to go in, if you can afford $1,000 to put into an account, then you need to put $1,000 in your paper trading account, and you need to trade that well and try to get yourself 5% daily on a max, and get yourself 1% on a consecutive basis of your total portfolio. If you can do a 1 to 5% daily, then you'll be a very successful trader. It's going to take you a while. It's going to take you a lot of pain to do so with real money. So we really suggest you do it with fake money, and that's why you want to learn. You want to learn the indicators and realize why we're entering a trade with real money, and you want to enter the trade with fake money so you can use those losses as a training tool. So when you lose an account from 1,000 to 0 based off of the trades we did, and you say, hey, how are they showing 20%, 15%, 6% gains, and I'm showing losses?
Right.
Well, it's because the trade was entered at a better time than you, and they was exited at a better time. Those entries and exits are what we're trading. We're trying to teach you how to figure out when to exit a trade, when to get into it, based off of your own risk management on your own portfolio with your own style, all adapted to you personally.
Yep.
So it's good stuff. You know, this is the introduction to trading, based on what we see. And you know, if you're interested in it and you want to learn more about trading, and you're not a person that's currently invested, if you're not invested in the market right now, and you want to learn more, and you're asking about scanners and what's the best scanner to use, if you're me, then I'm a cocky person. I would say my scanner is the best scanner to use. Fred, what's the best scanner for you? Yours? That's the best scanner for Fred. You know, Fred's. I'm sure.
No, one that is free, one that I don't have to pay for. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, a paid scanner. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you can set up your own scanners, which we can, and Fred's more than willing to. He's always offered that. If you want us to help you set up your own scanner, Matt, that was one of the questions in the chat. Matt Carpenter, we can help you set up your own scanner yourself, and that's the stuff that we offer you. We can give you these little things that are meaningless to some, but they mean a lot to new traders, and we can help you with that. Setting a scanner is very easy.
Yes.
What's a scanner? A scanner is something that's going to scan indications in the market to give you a idea based off of a process that you put in place. In the layman's terms, if you want to say that a stock moves 5% on a 5-minute chart or a daily chart, or if it makes a significant move in the pre-market, or if it has a high volume increase or a 52-week high, you can set a scanner to load that information in for you, and then it will alert you and say, hey, Apple is at a 52-week high, it's got a large volume increase, and it's up 5% on the daily. What should you do? If you don't know what to do, I'll tell you, you'll probably be looking for a short. And I always say, you don't want to short a stock making all-time highs, but you also don't want to be buying a stock that's up 5% on the day, and you're not in it. So those are little things that we can teach you. These are why people pay thousands of dollars to be a part of our group and learn, and there's why people are starting out on different levels. If you want to start out entry level, it's $50 a month. I'm sure you can find something in your life that you don't want to spend $50 a month on, and this will be something that'll teach you life lessons long term. It'll really just be something that you can grow for yourself for the future, whether it's trading or at home or anything. We have a lot of different topics that we cover, and when you put them all into your total life, I'm telling you, these things they all come together. The stock market is in your life no matter if you're invested or not, and you have to understand that.
Thank you.
So we only have 15 minutes left. If anyone has any more questions, you can drop them in the Facebook live chat. You can ask them if yourself in the group, if you're still in here. T Biggie Big, I know you're one of the members that have been in a while, so you may not have any questions offhand. George, you've been in a while. But Fetsky, you too. Last thing that we're gonna offer you guys, if you're not a member and you want to join us, just join in for free. Take the 5-day weekly subscription offer that we give you. Take your 5 days free and just cancel it if you don't like it. And I'm telling you, in 5 days, I'm sure you'll find some value. And if you've lost $50 in your life, you could use the money. So we'll make this happen. John, I'll have lunch with you tomorrow. Thursday is a day that I typically trade lightly, so I'm ready for Friday for the QQQ inclusion after hours. We're going to be looking at the Qs and what that means. If you don't know what the QQQs are, you shouldn't be spending $1 in the market yet. Start paper trading, start learning, start investing fake money to make real money. That's the topic tonight. Start fresh, start new, start something that'll maybe give you an opportunity to buy whatever that is that you wanted, or for that significant other. No, I'm just kidding. I had to go on a tangent for a second. I thought it was going to be good, but it crashed there. So I don't think anyone has anything. And stay in the green, my friends. I'll just go ahead and cut it off here. I appreciate you guys. Have fun. Join the group. Make some money. Let's go.
Thank you.
Woo!